I never thought writing someone's divorce papers would lead to her whispering across a candlelit table, "You gave me my freedom. Now help me celebrate it." But there I was, 31 years old, sitting across from Diana Chen in a restaurant far too expensive for a legal ghostwriter, watching her smile like a woman who'd just escaped prison. The problem? Her ex-husband was Vincent Chen, one of the most powerful venture capitalists in the city, the kind of man who destroyed careers for sport. And if he found out I was here with his ex-wife, he wouldn't just ruin me, he'd bury Patricia Wu, the lawyer who'd trusted me with this case. He'd make sure neither of us worked in legal again. But Diana was looking at me with those dark eyes, and all I could think was that some risks were worth taking, even the catastrophic ones. Because Diana wasn't just any client. She was the woman I'd spent 3 months getting to know through the most intimate details of her failed marriage. The woman whose pain I'd translated into legal language. The woman who'd cried on the phone to me at midnight while her soon-to-be ex-husband was still sleeping down the hall, gaslighting her even as the divorce papers were being drafted. And now, finally free, she was sitting across from me, 44 years old and devastatingly beautiful, in a way that had nothing to do with her designer dress and everything to do with the light in her eyes that hadn't been there 3 months ago. "To freedom," she said, raising her champagne glass. I should have made an excuse and left. Should have reminded her I was just the guy who wrote the words. Should have remembered that Vincent Chen had eyes everywhere and a vindictive streak a mile wide. Instead, I raised my glass and said, "To new beginnings." Even as I said it, I knew I was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. Let me back up. I'm Marcus Reed, 31, legal ghostwriter, which means I help lawyers sound intelligent in court documents without getting any of the glory. I work from home, live alone, and my most recent relationship ended 6 months ago when my girlfriend told me I was emotionally unavailable and married to my work. She wasn't wrong. I'd spent the last 3 years building my business, turning down dates, declining invitations, living in my laptop screen. It was easier than risking getting hurt again. Safer than letting someone see the parts of me I kept locked away. Then Diana Chen's case file landed on my desk with a warning from Patricia Wu. "This one's radioactive, Marcus," Patricia had said over the phone, her voice tight. "The husband is Vincent Chen." Yes, that Vincent Chen. Tech investor, sits on half a dozen boards, has more lawyers on retainer than most firms have associates. If we mess this up, he'll destroy us both. And if he even suspects anything unprofessional, anything at all, he'll use it to bury his wife in court and us in our careers. Then why take the case? Because she deserves better. Because she's been through hell. And because someone needs to stand up to men like Vincent Chen? Patricia paused. "I need you to be perfect on this one, Marcus. No mistakes, no personal involvement, just clean, powerful writing that gives her a fighting chance." "That's literally my job, Patricia." "I know, but this one matters. She matters. And he's dangerous." I should have heard the warning. Should have recognized the setup for disaster. I didn't. The first time I spoke to Diana was on a video call 2 days before she filed for divorce. She was still living in the mansion with Vincent, still playing the role of perfect wife in public while secretly meeting with lawyers. The risk she was taking made my chest tight. "Mr. Reed," she said, her voice low and controlled, glancing over her shoulder like Vincent might walk in any second. She wore her dark hair pulled back severely, no makeup, sitting in what looked like a home office. "Patricia says you're the best. I need the best. My husband has an army of lawyers, and if these papers aren't perfect, he'll use every mistake to destroy me. I understand the stakes, Miss Chen. Do you?" Her eyes were sharp, desperate. "Do you understand what it's like to be married to a man who controls everything? Who monitors your phone, your emails, your bank accounts? Who's convinced half our friends that I'm unstable, that I'm the problem?" Her voice cracked. "I have one shot at this. One. And if I fail, I'll spend the rest of my life under his control." Something in her voice cut through every professional boundary I'd ever built. This wasn't just another divorce. This was an escape. "Tell me your story," I said quietly. "Every detail. Every moment. And I promise you, Miss Chen, these papers will be perfect." She studied me for a long moment, trying to decide if she could trust me. Then she started talking, and I fell a little bit in love with her right then, though I'd never admit it. Not to her, not to Patricia, not even to myself. Diana had married Vincent Chen at 24, fresh out of law school, full of dreams about changing the world. He was 32, already successful, charming in the way powerful men are when they want something. Over 20 years, he'd systematically isolated her, made her quit her legal career because it embarrassed him that his wife needed to work, convinced her friends she was unstable, made her doubt her own memory, her own sanity. I didn't even realize what was happening until I was 43 and couldn't remember the last time I'd had a thought that was just mine, she said, her voice hollow. I'd look in the mirror and not recognize myself. The person behind the eyes was a stranger he'd created. What changed? I asked. She smiled, but it was bitter. I found texts between him and his latest mistress. 26 years old. He was promising her the same future he'd promised me. And something just broke. Or maybe something finally unbroken. I realized I could spend the next 20 years disappearing further, or I could fight. So, you're fighting. So I'm fighting. But Marcus, he's gonna fight back. Dirty. He's already started telling people I'm having a breakdown, that I'm mentally ill, that I'm trying to steal his money. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I need these papers to make me sound strong without sounding bitter, rational, without sounding cold. Is that even possible? Yes, I said, more confidently than I felt. We'll make him look like the monster he is without you having to say a word. That should have been the only call. One intake interview, I write the papers, case closed. But Vincent Chen's lawyers kept filing motions, kept dragging things out, and every new motion required new documents, which meant more calls with Diana. 2, sometimes 3 times a week. And every call, I fell a little deeper into something I had no business feeling. It wasn't just her story, though that would have been enough. It was her, the way she'd pause before answering a difficult question, choosing her words with lawyer's precision, the way she'd catch herself being too serious and force a smile, the way her voice changed when she talked about her daughter, Emily, 20 years old and away at college, still believing her father's lies. Emily thinks I'm overreacting. Diana admitted one night during a call that was supposed to be about financial assets but had turned into something more personal. It was past midnight. Vincent was traveling. Diana was alone in that big house. She thinks I'm having a midlife crisis. That I should try harder to make the marriage work? What do you tell her? Nothing. I can't tell her the truth without making her father a villain. And despite everything, he's still her father. She loves him. I won't take that from her. The selflessness of it broke something in me. You're protecting everyone except yourself. I've been doing that for 20 years. Old habits. She was quiet for a moment. Can I ask you something unprofessional? My heart jumped. Sure. Why do you do this? Ghostwriting. You could be a lawyer yourself. Make more money. Get the credit. Why hide behind other people's names? No one had ever asked me that. Because I got hurt in law school. I was going to be a prosecutor, had the job lined up. Then my girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend, and I had this moment where I realized I didn't trust my own judgment anymore. If I couldn't see that coming, how could I trust myself with people's lives? So I went into ghostwriting. Less responsibility. Safer. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, well, we all have our damage. Marcus. The way she said my name made my chest tight. You've been helping me find my voice for 3 months. Maybe it's time you found yours again. The almost moment happened 2 weeks before her divorce was finalized. Patricia needed Diana to sign some amended papers. And Diana couldn't come to the office because Vincent was having her followed, so I volunteered to bring them to her. Big mistake. She answered the door in jeans and a sweater, hair down for the first time I'd seen, and the sight of her without armor nearly knocked me sideways. Marcus. Hi. Come in. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. It's not an inconvenience. I followed her into the house, hyper-aware that I was in Vincent Chen's space, that if he found out, it could destroy everything. We sat at her kitchen table. I spread out the papers, explained what needed to be signed, and the whole time, I could feel the tension building between us like a physical thing. She signed the last page. Our hands brushed as I took the pen back. Just a second. just skin on skin. But electricity shot through me, and I saw her breath catch. "Diana," I said, and it came out rougher than I meant. She looked up at me. We were so close. Her perfume was jasmine and something citrus. I could see the pulse beating at the base of her throat. "We shouldn't," she whispered, but she didn't move away. "I know." My hand was still touching hers. "You're still technically married. I'm still technically working on your case. Patricia would kill me. Vincent would destroy both of us. All good reasons. All excellent reasons. Then why aren't you moving?" "Because I haven't been able to stop thinking about you for 3 months, and it's driving me insane." The confession hung between us. Dangerous. True. Diana's eyes searched mine. "Marcus, I'm 20 years older than you. I'm a disaster. I'm in the middle of a divorce from a man who will ruin anyone who gets close to me. You should run. I should. But I don't want to." She leaned forward. I leaned forward. Our lips were inches apart. One more second and I would have kissed her. Then her phone rang. Vincent's name flashed on the screen. She jerked back like she'd been burned. "I have to take this. He gets suspicious if I don't answer." I stood up, gathering the papers, my hands shaking. "I'll let myself out. Marcus, wait, it's okay. You're right. We shouldn't." I left before she could say anything else. That night, I lay awake, staring at my ceiling, imagining what would have happened if that phone hadn't rung. 2 weeks, I told myself. 2 weeks until the divorce is final. Then she's free. Then maybe. The day Diana's divorce was finalized, I didn't hear from her. I told myself that was normal, that I should give her space. By 8 p.m., I'd failed at maintaining professional distance. I was staring at my phone when it buzzed. "Diana, it's done. I'm officially free. I'm sitting alone in my apartment with a bottle of champagne and no one to share it with. Seems like a waste." My heart stopped. Let's the person. Then started again. Faster. Every professional instinct screamed at me to send polite congratulations. Vincent Chen was vindictive. If he found out, he'd find a way to use it. But I was so tired of being safe. Me. An hour later, I was standing outside an upscale restaurant, wearing the only suit I owned without coffee stains, wondering if I was about to make the best or worst decision of my life. Diana was waiting at the table, and I didn't recognize her. The woman I'd known through video calls had been composed, controlled, almost severe. This woman was radiant. She'd let her hair down, dark waves falling past her shoulders. She wore a deep blue dress that was elegant and daring, and when she smiled at me, it was like watching someone remember how to be alive. "You came," she said, standing to greet me. "I wasn't sure you would." "I almost didn't," I admitted. "Vincent Chen is a powerful man with a long memory. If he finds out, I don't care anymore." Steel in her voice. "I spent 20 years being afraid of him, being afraid of what people would think, being afraid to want anything for myself. I'm done being afraid. Diana, let me finish." She stepped closer. "I know this is complicated. I know there are a million reasons we shouldn't. But Marcus, for 3 months you've been the only person who saw me as a person. Not a trophy. Not a victim. Just me. And tonight, I'm finally free. I'm finally able to choose what I want." Her eyes held mine. "I choose this. I choose you. If you'll have me." Every rational thought screamed, "Walk away. She's vulnerable. Vincent will find out. You'll lose everything." But looking at her, at the hope and fear and determination in her eyes, logic didn't stand a chance. "Yeah," I said roughly. "I'll have you." Her smile could have lit up the entire city. We sat, ordered champagne, and for the first few minutes, the tension was different. Not the forced professionalism of client and ghostwriter, not the stolen almost moment of two people who couldn't have each other. This was real, immediate. Two people on a first date trying to figure out if the connection they'd felt through screens would translate to reality. It did. God, it did. "I don't usually do this," Diana said, fidgeting with her glass. "Go to dinner with men I barely know. Ask them to celebrate with me. I feel like I'm 19 again. You don't look 19. Is that a compliment? It's an observation. You look free, different from all those video calls. I am different. She leaned forward. For 20 years, I performed. I was whatever Vincent needed me to be. Sophisticated enough for his business dinners, but not threatening. Attractive enough to show off, but not so attractive I'd draw attention away from him. It was exhausting. And now? Now I'm just me. And I have no idea who that is yet. She smiled, and it was the most genuine expression I'd seen on her face. But I'm excited to find out. Then we can figure it out together. The words hung between us, loaded with implication. We talked through dinner. Really talked? The way we had on those late-night calls, but different now. More present, more possible. She told me about her plans. Going back to law school to update her credentials, maybe start practicing family law. She'd rented a small apartment in the arts district. She was taking painting classes, learning to cook. Reading books, Vincent had said, were beneath her. It probably sounds silly, she said. 44-year-old woman taking painting classes like a retiree. It sounds like freedom. It sounds like you're becoming yourself. Is this what it's supposed to feel like? Being yourself? Because it's terrifying and exhilarating, and I feel like I might fly apart at any second. I think that's exactly what it's supposed to feel like. She reached across the table, taking my hand. Her skin was warm, soft, real. Marcus, I need to be honest with you about something. These last 3 months, talking to you, having someone actually listen to me without trying to fix me or control me, it woke something up I thought Vincent had killed. And I know this is probably inappropriate. I know you were just doing your job, but I can't stop thinking about you. My throat was tight. Diana, let me finish. Please. She took a breath. I'm 44 years old. I just got out of a 20-year marriage that nearly destroyed me. I have a daughter who barely speaks to me because she believes her father's lies. I'm living alone for the first time in my life, and half the time, I'm terrified. The smart thing would be to stay single, figure myself out, not drag someone else into my mess, especially not someone 13 years younger who has his whole life ahead of him. What do you want? I asked, turning her hand over in mine. Honestly, I want to know if this thing between us is real, if you've felt it too, or if I'm just a lonely divorcee projecting onto the first man who's been kind to me in 20 years. I looked at her across the table. This woman who'd trusted me with her pain, who'd let me see her at her most vulnerable, who was now looking at me with hope and fear and desire all tangled together. You're not projecting, I said quietly. I've felt it too. From that first video call, if I'm being honest, the way you fought for yourself even when you were terrified, the way you protected your daughter even when she didn't believe you, the way you looked at the camera like you were really seeing me. I've been trying to convince myself it was just professional interest, that I was invested in your case. But it wasn't. It isn't. So what do we do? Her voice was barely a whisper. Because Vincent will find out, eventually. He has people watching me. And when he does, he'll try to destroy you. Destroy Patricia. He'll tell everyone I seduced you to get a better settlement. That you wrote biased papers. That we're both frauds. Let him try. Marcus, I'm serious. He's dangerous. So am I. I squeezed her hand. Diana, I spent 3 years playing it safe, keeping everyone at arm's length, convincing myself that not feeling anything was better than risking pain. But being with you these past 3 months, even just talking, has made me feel more alive than I've felt in years. So, yeah, Vincent Chen scares me. The age gap scares me. The fact that you're still figuring out who you are scares me. But you know what scares me more? Spending the rest of my life wondering what this could have been. Walking away from you because it's safer. I stood up, still holding her hand, and moved around the table. I don't want safe anymore. I want real. I want messy. I want you. She looked up at me, tears spilling over. Even though I'm a disaster, even though this could blow up spectacularly, especially because of that, she stood, and suddenly we were inches apart, close enough that I could see every emotion flickering across her face. I'm going to kiss you now, she whispered. If that's not okay, you should probably say something. I should have said something. Should have reminded us both that we were in a public restaurant, that Vincent could have spies here, that we should take this slow. Instead, I closed the distance and kissed her. Her lips were soft, tasting like champagne and something sweeter. Her hands came up to frame my face, and the touch was gentle at first, tentative, like she was afraid I might disappear. But when I pulled her closer, when my hands found her waist, she made this sound, low in her throat, relief and want mixed together. When we finally pulled apart, both breathing harder, she rested her forehead against mine. That was... Yeah. Should we be worried it was that good? Probably. I pulled back enough to see her face. But I'm done worrying about should. Are you? She smiled, and it was luminous. Brave. I'm definitely done with should. The next 3 months were the best and most terrifying of my life. Diana and I went slowly, carefully, both aware that Vincent was watching. He'd already started rumors that she'd had an affair during the marriage, trying to destroy her reputation. If he found out about us, he'd have ammunition. So, we were careful. No social media, no public appearances. We'd meet at her apartment or mine, order takeout, talk for hours, and slowly, I watched her unfold, watched her discover who she was without someone telling her who to be. She cut her hair shorter, started wearing colors she'd never worn before, laughed louder, took up space. One night, about 6 weeks in, we were at her apartment. She'd cooked pasta, and we were on her couch, her feet tucked under her, wine in her hand. I told Emily about you today, she said quietly. My heart jumped. How did that go? Badly. Diana's voice was tight. She said I was being selfish, that I was throwing away 20 years of marriage for a boy young enough to be her brother, that I was having a midlife crisis and dragging you down with me. Diana, she said, she didn't want to meet you, that if I kept seeing you, she'd spend Thanksgiving with her father instead of me. Her voice broke. Vincent's been in her ear, telling her I'm unstable, and now she's using you as proof. I pulled her close, and she buried her face against my chest. I'm ruining your relationship with your daughter. No, Vincent's doing that, and Emily's old enough to make her own choices. She'll come around. What if she doesn't? Then we'll deal with it. But Diana, I'm not going anywhere. I meant what I said. I'm all in. She looked up at me, tears on her cheeks. Even if it cost me my daughter, I hope it doesn't come to that. But yes. Even then, 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Vincent played his trump card. Patricia called me in a panic. Marcus, we have a problem. Vincent's lawyers are filing a motion to reopen the divorce. They're claiming you and Diana had an inappropriate relationship during the proceedings, that it biased the papers, and that the settlement should be voided. My blood ran cold. We didn't. Nothing happened until after I know that. You know that. But Marcus, can you prove it? Because Vincent has investigators. They have photos of you leaving her house during the case, phone records showing midnight calls, and they're going to argue you two were having an affair the whole time. That's insane. Those calls were about the case. I believe you, but it looks bad. And if they make this stick, it won't just void Diana's settlement. It'll destroy both our licenses. I sat down, hard. What do we do? I need you to be honest with me. Did you have feelings for her during the case? I was quiet too long. Marcus. Yes. Okay? Yes. I had feelings for her, but I didn't act on them. I kept it professional. I did my job. Then we fight. But Marcus, this is going to get ugly. Vincent's going to drag both of you through the mud. Can you handle that? Can Diana? I don't know. But we're about to find out. The hearing was brutal. Vincent's lawyers came armed with evidence. Photos of me at Diana's house, phone records. They even had a recording of her crying on the phone to me, taken out of context to sound intimate. They painted a picture of a lonely divorcee seducing her naive ghostwriter. Diana sat beside Patricia, her face pale but composed. She didn't look at Vincent, who sat across the aisle looking smug. When it was our turn, Patricia was fierce. She presented our evidence. Every email, every phone call, all strictly professional, until after the divorce was finalized. She called me to the stand. Mr. Reed, did you have any physical or romantic relationship with Miss Chen while you were working on her case? No. Did you ever suggest she leave her husband for you? If anything, they made me work harder. I wanted her to get the settlement she deserved, not because I hoped for a relationship, but because she deserved justice. Then Vincent's lawyer stood up. Mr. Reed, you're 31 years old, correct? And Miss Chen is 44. Wealthy, powerful connections. Quite a catch for a struggling ghostwriter, isn't she? Miss Chen isn't a catch. She's a person who'd been abused and manipulated for 20 years. And yes, I developed feelings for her, but not because of her money or her connections. Because she's brave. Because she fought for her freedom even when everyone told her she was crazy. Because she's kind and intelligent and real. I looked at Vincent, and if you're asking if I'd do it again, knowing it would end up here, knowing it might cost me my career, yes, in a heartbeat. The judge took a week to decide. When the ruling came, he found no evidence of impropriety during the case. The settlement stood, but he issued a formal reprimand for poor judgment. We'd won. That night, Diana called. Emily saw the news coverage. She called me, asked me to explain what really happened, so I told her everything. She wants to meet you, to apologize. Thanksgiving was the most nerve-wracking day of my life. Emily arrived at 2, sharp eyes full of skepticism. She didn't shake my hand, just looked me up and down. So, you're Marcus. Can we talk, Mom? Alone? 20 minutes later, Diana called me back. Emily sat with arms crossed, face hard. Emily has questions, Diana said quietly. Ask, I said. Did you seduce my mother for better clients? No. Did you write biased papers so she'd sleep with you? No. I wrote honest papers because she deserved it. Do you love her? Or are you just having fun with an older woman before you move on? I looked at Diana, then back at Emily. I love her. I'm not having fun. I'm not experimenting. I'm in love with your mother. And yeah, she's older than me. Yeah, the timing was complicated, but I'd go through everything again just to be with her. Why? She's broken. She's a mess. Why would you want that? Because she's brave. Because watching her fight for her freedom is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Because she makes me want to be braver too. And when you realize you want kids and she's too old, what then? I don't have all the answers. But right now, your mother is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm going to fight for this as long as she'll have me. Even if I hate you, even then. But I hope you won't. Because Diana loves you more than anything. Emily stared. Then her face crumpled. I'm sorry, Mom. I believed Dad. He said you were sick. That you'd seduce some young guy to make him jealous. And I believed him. Diana pulled her close. It's okay, baby. But you should blame me. I was horrible. You were protecting yourself. That's what we do. Emily looked at me. You really love her? Yes. Okay. Then we can try this. But if you break her heart, I will hunt you down. When she left, she hugged us both. Diana collapsed onto the couch. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. But you did it. She's trying. I pulled her close. I love you, Diana Chen. I love your strength. I love your mess. I love watching you become yourself. I love you too, she whispered. I'm writing this from our apartment. Diana started her law program, specializing in family law, helping people escape marriages like hers. Emily visits monthly. We're getting there. My parents met Diana last month and love her. Patricia forgave me. Vincent tried one more appeal and lost. Does Diana still have hard days? Yes. Days when the weight of 20 lost years hits her. On those days, I hold her. Do I still worry? Yes. About the age gap? About being enough? On those days, she holds me. Is this forever? I don't know. But right now, I'm happier than I've ever been. Because some love stories start with divorce papers and midnight calls. Some start with two people fighting every odd to choose each other. This is ours. And I wouldn't change a single complicated, messy, beautiful moment of it.